Do you feel like your friendships have changed after becoming a mother?
Everything has changed since becoming a mother, between like friendships, the importance of family or village.
So how has becoming a parent affected your relationship and your intimacy with your partner?
If you would have asked me this like 2 months ago, it would have been a whole different conversation. And I feel like that's really normal. Like genuinely, when we like got the okay, like I was not even ready yet. I was like, my body might say it's ready, but like I can't even mentally wrap my head around getting into like a sexy mode. Like I just feel so unsexy. I feel like a giant cow. The best advice I've heard for potty training is my friend who within like 2 months potty trained her daughter. And she said the second they can sit up straight, like unassisted, just get the potty. And if you hear them like and pushing, just sit them on there.
Hi mama, you're doing amazing. I know the challenges of navigating through postpartum life, and I'm here to be a village in a world where the village is often missing. My name is Elo, and I'm the host of the New Mom in Town, the Postpartum Podcast. Today's guest is Tori, a mom entrepreneur figuring out her new life as a mom while trying to realign her mind, body, and soul with her monthly wellness events. On this episode, we dive into how friendships can change in many ways during motherhood, from loneliness to finding your village. We also explore the challenges of reconnecting with your partner intimately after becoming parents. Let's get into it. You are now 6 months postpartum, almost 7. Congratulations, you're like almost there. I'm just kidding.
Like, what does that mean?
I don't know. I used to hear that, 6 months, everything gets a little more easier. And then now I'm hearing it's 1 year and it's 2. Really, I heard it's actually 6 years.
Oh, lovely.
We have a long road ahead. But it's okay. It's okay. And I know that both you and I we're both kind of in a similar lifestyle. We traveled a lot. We were in front of the cameras, just doing a lot of fun things. And then now motherhood is seriously so fun. I love it so much. However, it has changed and there's a drift now with friendships and other things. Do you feel like your friendships have changed after becoming a mother?
I feel like everything has changed since becoming a mother, between like friendships, the importance of family or village, job opportunities, like literally everything under the sun has completely changed for me because my occupation is a lifestyle influencer. That's what I do, is my lifestyle. So having to even get into like this niche of like mommy content, like that's been very, very new for me. But as far as friends, I feel like when I got pregnant, I kind of started doing this weeding process of like, who would I want to be around my child? Because there's like, we all have those friends that you're like, that's not necessarily someone I should really be around, but like, that's a good time person when I go and do this and do that. And it's just like, is that someone that I want to be like an auntie in my kid's life? And then just seeing a lot of my friends because I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of people I know, but like actual people that are really close to me, maybe 5 or 6. And just watching them turn into aunties has been like the most beautiful thing. And like watching them love her as much as I do has been such an amazing thing to watch. And honestly, it's something that I would not trade. So I latch her. Something I wouldn't trade, but it's definitely been an adjustment and a change. Like, I'm not getting the same invites. I don't get invited to Sunday brunch anymore. Like, I don't get invited to, that club night out anymore. And not that I would even go, but just the FOMO of like, maybe still invite me. Even though it's going to be no, I'm not going to come. Like, just make me feel included. What's all that? Yeah, just even like that now, like my friends come over and I used to have like the smoke inside household. Now everyone's got to go outside. I will just mid-conversation whip out a boob and just be breastfeeding. Like, it's definitely changed a lot of my life for the better, but also I wouldn't say for the worst. It's just different. And I didn't really realize a lot of how different it would be. Because I was probably one of the first people like in my friend group to have a kid. So no one was really around me showing me like this like Y2K Generation Z parent. Like I wasn't really seeing it. I feel like people got pregnant and then they were like out of the scene. Girl, what is happening? People got pregnant, they like left the scene, or like they moved out of LA, especially because we're in LA. Like not many people have kids and then stay in LA. So I was just like, okay, like what friend groups am I even gonna like be in? Because there's like, yes, my friends are extremely supportive, but it's more so like me like, oh my God, I found out this thing today. Like how cool is that? There's not like a sharing back and forth. There's not like an understanding back and forth. It's like a, oh, we get it, you're pregnant, or oh, we get it, like you have a baby, like how can I help? And I'm just like, I don't even know. Like I'm trying to figure out what to do to make her stop crying in the car at night. Like, do you have any advice on that? Like, so that's why I think I put a lot into my platform on TikTok, and just really, I grew like a huge following of moms on there. So that's where I started asking my questions, just because I didn't know like who else to ask.
It's the support that you can get from them, but it's just little questions that you'll ask, or sometimes it's not even that I'm asking a question, but it's, I don't even want you to make me feel better. I just want you to listen to me. But most of them don't understand that because they don't know. They're just trying to make you feel better. So they will, push something positive onto you. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't very helpful. So yeah, that part.
Or what's even worse is like the gratitude police is what I call it, where it's like you complain, and it's not so much like my friends, it's more so online community that's like, you should be so grateful. I've been trying to get pregnant for this amount of time. Like, I wish I could deal with sleepless nights. And I'm like, you're not understanding. Like, I'm extremely grateful. You get $1 million, you're extremely grateful. And then you realize like, oh, these taxes and this, and like, there's problems that come with everything, no matter what your gratitude level is. Like, I'm extremely grateful for her. Doesn't make the bags under my eyes smaller. Like, doesn't make that freaking, we're going through a 6-month regression right now, like with sleep, doesn't make that any easier. Like, I love her, and like, yes, when she wakes up and she smiles at me, like my whole mood goes up, but I'm still exhausted. Like, that's just a reality, that it's like, okay, as grateful as I can be and as happy as I can be about this tiny person, like there are still things that are challenging, and like I want to talk about them, and I want to voice like how I'm feeling about them. And that's why like I promised on my social platforms, I will be authentic. I'm going to say 100% what's happening, good, bad, the ugly. And I posted a video where I was like really, really going through it. Like, I wouldn't say as far as like postpartum depression, but like I was definitely having baby blues. I was definitely down, and I was like, could not stop crying. And I just posted a video crying, and I was like, postpartum is harder than pregnancy, like said all these things, and it got so much engagement. Some of it was like, you should be grateful. And then a lot of it was like, thank you so much. You took away so much of my guilt, like all this stuff. Like, it's so good to see another mom talking about this. Like, no one really talks about this stuff. Like, no one talks about the negative sides. And I'm like, yeah, because people get shamed for it. And I don't get it, because like, we're all struggling with the same thing. I go to a mommy and me dance class. What are we talking about? The same freaking things. Like, I'm not sleeping. I don't like my pediatrician. This pediatrician is trying to get me to go on formula. Like, this pediatrician is blah, blah, blah. Like, we're all kind of struggling with the same types of issues. And I just wish that women were more open about, I don't even want to say the negatives, but just like the struggles of motherhood, instead of being like, oh, it's just such a beautiful thing. Like right now, she normally feeds and is completely quiet. Today, she's deciding to be vocal. I don't know why. Babies.
Okay. She senses the vibe. She's like, you guys are recording this. Are you talking about me?
Literally. She's like, make sure you pick up my voice. I realized I didn't get a mic, so I need to make sure I'm heard.
She's so cute. But no, absolutely. I think the whole, it's not mom shaming in a way, but like you said, everybody is going through a struggle, whether or not you're, not being able to conceive or you're having sleepless nights. A struggle is a struggle. And if a woman, a mom or mom to be is voicing it out, we should all just really support that and just validate that feeling. I think another thing, like kind of like to piggyback on what you were saying these things where, yes, I'm struggling, or breastfeeding was hard, or I'm not sleeping, or whatever you're going through, whether it's you're crying at nights or you're going through the baby blues, we should be able to say these things out loud. Like, it's not all just rainbows and colors and flowers.
The baby's so cute, and look at her in her outfit, and like, yeah, that's a large portion of it. But there's also a large portion that's like, you liked to eat that yesterday. Why don't you like that today? Why are we crying in our bath today when we're normally not? Like, why did you completely change everything that you liked last week for something else? I don't know. This week you liked that chair. Last week you hated that chair. Like, I don't understand.
Exactly.
And it's just trying to like keep up with this person who's growing so fast and changing so fast. And it's literally like the most beautiful thing to see, but also so kind of scary because you're like, I don't know what next week could be like. Someone's like, oh, you want to do this in 2 weeks? And I'm like, I would love to, but let's see if I get enough sleep to be able to make it. Let's see if like because if she's having like a hard day or she's like coughing, I'm not leaving her.
No, absolutely.
Like literally, I don't care what I told you I would do last week. I don't care what opening of what is happening. Like my baby comes first, and I just know that there will be a point in my life where she's like, Mom, leave me alone. Stop texting me all the time. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm hanging out with my friends. And that's when I can go and live a whole second portion of my life. But for a solid, at least like 15 years, I'm locked into day in, day out is run by a little tiny emotional terrorist. It's crazy.
Have you been feeling supported by your family? Has that feel, different for you?
Our village is amazing. Our village is honestly what makes everything so easy. My parents live 10 minutes away. His parents live like 30, 40 minutes away. Someone is always available and excited to watch her. Then that's not even factoring in like my sister, my best friend that like lives 10 minutes away. Like there's always someone that is not just willing to watch her, but excited to watch her. And I know she's in like loving care. And that's what's made, honestly, like my postpartum so easy. And that's why like I understand now why they say it takes a village, because it really does. Like if you want to be able to leave your baby, which is so important for your mental health, to leave them at certain points, to know that they're like with people that don't just like tolerate them, but love them and are actually excited. Like I text my parents, hey, can you watch her Saturday? They're like, yes, we love it. We just got her these new toys. Like we just got her new books. We read all the books last time she was here. So we got her some new books, like just beyond excited. And one of my friends said something funny the other day. He was like, grandparents aren't grandparent in the way they used to. And I was like, come to think about it, that's really true. Like between parents having to work till they're much older because of like economic situations, between grandparents like living this second life and like, oh, I'm traveling, I'm doing this, I'm out. Like grandparents aren't really grandparenting like they used to. And I'm just so grateful that I have 5 grandparents that are really like grandparenting.
That's beautiful. That is very helpful. And I'm so glad that you have that. And it's amazing for your daughter to grow up with that.
With her full community like around her. Like she's gonna know her grandparents, not just like holiday grandparents. And I'm like, that's amazing.
Exactly. I think that's very beautiful. For us, we have one part of our grandparents, or Zayden's grandparents in Florida. But they FaceTime every day. So It's like whatever we can do to try to keep them in contact and for him to see them, it's very important for us too.
I'm FaceTiming her great-grandparents. So her great-grandparents FaceTime her like at least once a week, because my family is mostly on the East Coast. Like my immediate family moved out here, but my grandparents, like my aunts, my uncles, they're all on the East Coast. So they're FaceTiming her all the time.
That's so sweet. I love that.
Because she's named after my boyfriend's grandmother. Isola she's the Minnie.
That is beautiful.
And then her middle name's Rebecca, which is my great-grandmother's name. So she's got all family names.
Oh. So how has becoming a parent affected your relationship and your intimacy with your partner?
It's definitely changed. If you would have asked me this like 2 months ago, it would have been a whole different conversation. And I feel like that's really normal. Like genuinely, when we like got the okay, like I was not even ready yet. I was like, my body might say it's ready, but like I can't even mentally wrap my head around getting into like a sexy mode. Like I just feel so unsexy. I feel like a giant cow. I'm being basically milked 24/7. Like there's nothing sexual about my day right now. Like my hair is in a messy bun. I'm covered in someone that's pooping on me. Like that's the hardest switch for me, is like mentally having to get into that place. I don't know what's more challenging, the physical, the mental, or the finding the time. Mm-hmm. and also like still feeling like we're not like old, we're still young, like we're still hot, like we're still trying to do fun things. So like to even have a time limit on like, let's try to fit it in this nap time that could be 15 minutes or it could be an hour and a half. Like it's just such a strange thing that I've never had to experience before, and navigating it has definitely been challenging. But it's like I feel like every single time we like feel more and more like we did before we had a baby. And I know that there will like come a time where it's like she's in school all day, or like she's really getting those like hours of sleep, she's not feeding through the night anymore, like that everything will start to get more and more on track. But just to have this point in my life right now where it's like that's not the focus is very strange. And I'm sure like it's strange for men as well, because yes, they are going through their own version of becoming a dad, but it's not as physically demanding. So it's like now you're kind of like experiencing it from the outside and you're not fully understanding, but you're wanting to be supportive, but like everyone has needs that need to be met. So like now I understand why my parents' whole thing like is the love menu. And I was like, when I was a kid, I'm like, what the freak is that? Like, I'm not a kid, but like old enough to understand like sexy time. My mom would be like, yeah, the love menu, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, so your partner like never feels like that, like closed door shut, like absolutely not. Like, okay, maybe we're not doing a full 3 courses tonight, but I'll get you with an appetizer. I'm gonna hit you with a little appetizer. And that's like what I've kind of adopted is like, there's not a no, there's like, this is what my energy will allot for right now. So I know that you have this that needs to be met, or I have this that needs to be met, and that's how we're feeling right now. So how do we make the other one feel seen and heard and loved and fulfilled without burning myself out too much, or without like putting them in a weird position? Because like towards the end of pregnancy, like there was no sexy time, just because it was like strange. It was like weird. I felt like my body was not mine. I felt like there were too many people living in this apartment, and for something else to come into this apartment would be absolutely insane. I didn't want to start labor early, like, and then you have to wait till you get cleared. So there's like a solid 3 months where you're having no fancy time, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how PG we're supposed to be on here, but there's like a solid 3 months, and that's like on the good scale. That's not even talking about like C-sections and like recovering from that, and if you have complications, or like you're not closing up the way you're supposed, like you could really go for about half a year with no sexy time, and no one really prepares you for that in the relationship. No one's like, hey, careful, like you might lose your relationship over the course of like trying to heal from having this beautiful, amazing thing. And that's just one thing that I've like kind of kept not at the forefront of my mind, but has been very important to me, is like making sure that I'm operating to my highest capabilities in all categories of my life, and not just putting everything into her, because like, yes, she is the most important thing to me right now, but I want her to grow up not seeing a woman that's just solely like her child's slave. I want her to see a woman that's a business owner. I want her to see a woman that is a wife and is all these things, goes to the gym. Like I'm going on runs and I'm running with her in the stroller because I want her to, is she going to remember it? No. But these are going to be the things that are going to shape her, that she's going to think, oh, a woman is someone that works out for fitness, not just to be skinny. Like a good mom is someone that also takes care of herself and values me time, isn't just someone that burns the candle at both ends trying to take care of everyone in the household. And that's, honestly, I'm so grateful for like how much I got into wellness and body, mind, and soul alignment and all that stuff before I had a kid, because the snapback that they try to like push on women is crazy. And like no one's worried about the mental, emotional, spiritual snapback. They're like, oh, what's your body look like? You can be crying in a corner and totally not okay, but like as long as you got that stomach flat again, girl. And that's just, it's so counterproductive for being like a well-rounded, happy, healthy woman.
That part also, I think society has just put kind of like this stigma, this picture that you have. Like either you're gonna be skinny right away, or you're just gonna be bigger for a longer time. and there's no, or it'll be like, oh, you're breastfeeding, you're gonna lose the weight, or you're doing this, you're gonna lose the weight, or you're gonna gain the weight.
Who made that lie that breastfeeding the weight was gonna fall off?
So
who said that?
I don't know. And I just feel like I get it. It might work for certain women, but it's not going to work for every woman. Every woman has different hormones. I was going to ask what helps kind of, navigate through the intimacy and how to get more connected to your partner.
I feel like what helped me the most is right after I feel like you have a baby, you like kind of dissociate from your body just because like you can't really focus on the healing. Like it's just too much. You're exhausted. You've like the no sleep doesn't begin when you have a baby. It begins in the third trimester when you have to pee every 5 minutes and your whole body hurts. And if you lay in one position for too long, your hips hurt. Like there's so much no sleep that happens even before you have the baby. So then you have like this rigorous 3-day event where your body is literally going through hell. Like birth is a whole different conversation. I did all natural freaking water birth, no pain medication, crazy townness. And just that experience. And then like someone gives you this thing that's like the most precious thing in the world that can so easily be injured or hurt. And it's like, take care of it. don't do this, don't do that, but also don't do this and don't do that. Make sure you're doing this, but also sleep when the baby sleeps. But then like make sure you're taking time for yourself and make sure you shower and then make sure you're eating healthy and the house can't be crazy dirty because then the baby might catch something. But also sleep when the baby sleeps. So you want me to sleep when the baby sleeps, but when the baby's awake, I have to do things for the baby, but then the baby goes to sleep and I'm supposed to sleep. When do I do anything else?
Literally.
That's your village. And that's why like a lot of my friends will be like, oh my God, your baby's so cute. I want to have a baby, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, you need to have one of two things. You either need to have enough money to pay for 24/7 help, or you need to have an extremely supportive partner. You don't just look at this and be like, oh my God, so cute. You guys dressed in the same color today. Like that's literally 10% of the entire enchilada. Like 10%, not even, maybe 5 is like the adorableness of it. But just being able to like reintegrate with my body and get my body, mind, and soul together again and like not be so dissociative from my body is what really started to get me back into the vibe of even being able to be intimate with my partner. And yes, it's a lot of physical, but I also am someone that my career and a lot of my life has depended on my physical appearance. So there was a lot of that went into me starting to feel like myself again. And that's why I say to people like, yes, I'm working out this amount and I'm doing all these walks and I'm doing all this stuff and run club and blah, blah, blah. But that's because that for me works mentally. If that doesn't work for you, don't just do that because you see that's working for me or because like, oh, she lost blah, blah, blah. Like that's what I needed for my mental health. Me going to the gym and lifting weights, even if I wasn't seeing results yet, I need that time. I need that accomplishment in my day. I need to feel physically like I pushed myself for me to feel mentally sound. So weight loss or not, like I had to stop weighing myself. Like a month in, I would weigh myself and I'm like, I'm trying and I've got breastfeeding and I'm on this meal plan and blah, blah. Like just, I could not weigh myself. I just started going off of how my clothes fit, started just doing extra like abs, started doing more cardio, walking for longer. When I first started walking, I would walk around my block and be like winded. I need to go inside and I'm freaking exhausted. And now I'm like 4 miles, like do. And that's just morning. And then the nighttime, I'm going to go to this weightlifting class and then I'm going to do extra abs. And it's just a building process. And I was also someone that I was extremely active before I got pregnant. Like I was the 2 fitness class a day girly, the let's go on a hike for the weekend for fun. Like I love an active lifestyle. So I didn't just have a baby and then like, oh, now I'm going to go run. Like, no, my muscle memory is there.
Exactly. And that's why I love that you said that because you're doing all these things for your mental health more so than your physical appearance and physical health. Because I was going to ask, like, what do you do to kind of make you happy and find some me time? And I'm sure I see it.
It's the gym. It's literally the gym. I get to go there. I have a community. I have like my friend Des that like, she goes every day. So she'll be like, hey girl, like it's almost 6 p.m. Like you better be getting ready. Like just that motivation, that friendship, that camaraderie, and then just the mental accomplishment of weightlifting. Before I, like 2 or 3 years before I got pregnant, I had mostly spent my life like working out to be skinny, like cardio bunny, was not trying to gain muscle in any way. I didn't want to look manly and like all these things. And then when I met my man, he was like, that's just lift lighter weights, heavy, like more reps. Like you're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger because you picked up a 5-pound dumbbell, girl, like chill. So I really started weightlifting and like to be able to like push myself and set these new PRs and like see that if I'm going consistently, like the weight goes up and it's just easier to lift. Like that mental challenge, that physical challenge, like completely makes me feel so good about myself to accomplish a workout that it's like that win that I need in the day, when sometimes the day can just feel so many back-to-back losses. Like to know that I can go to the gym and I can do that and push myself and like come home and like just feel so great about myself. Like it's been amazing. And then of course, like the physical benefits, the side effects of that is just a whole nother different amazing feeling. Like being able to even have the stamina to do a fitness class, like amazing.
I mean, you're getting ready because once you start crawling and so much, we have to be fit. We have to be lifting weights because these babies are only getting heavier and faster.
Literally, and they want to be lifted all the time. And I don't know what's up with this generation of babies, but I feel like they're doing everything early.
2024 babies are built different.
Literally, she came out with full neck control. I'm like, I thought you were supposed to be a blob. That's what I was told. I was told you'd be blobbing it out for a couple months and then suddenly there'd be some neck control. Yeah. She's doing a full-blown tummy time.
Exactly.
At a couple days old.
Eyes wide open, just looking around like, oh, hi, world. I'm like, bro, why are your eyes open
like she's standing right now. Yeah. What type of baby is this?
Yeah, they're just built different, and I love that for them. Huh.
Yeah.
So you've been navigating through postpartum pretty well, I would say. I know that it has its ups and downs.
The first 2 months was really rough. And I think it was mostly rough because learning to breastfeed was super rough for me. I don't know if it's TMI, I need to like block this out, but I have flat nipples. So even getting her to latch was extremely challenging. I had to start with pumping. And then once I could like bring them forward, that's when I could start like actually trying to get her to latch. I took her to the chiropractor because they were like, that will help. Because then I took her to get assessed for a tongue tie. They tried to finesse me. They said she had a tongue and a lip tie, but they were just invisible. And they needed to do a $900 surgery immediately that same day. And of course, like in the height of postpartum, and I'm looking at all these TikToks of women like, I got the laser done and then I went home and that night breastfeeding was seamless and it wasn't painful. And I'm like, well, then I need to do that. And my man's like, take a breath. We're going to go home and think about this. We're going to try you, homeopathic lady. We're trying every homeopathic method before they put a CO2 laser in this baby's mouth. And I'm so grateful I did because I did not need to do that. I didn't need to do any of that.
I truly believe. What did they used to do back in the day? Do you think they went to the doctor, my mom, and said, hey, I think my daughter has a tongue tie because she's not latching on? No, it's just certain things that we had to be taught or the baby needs some more time to latch on.
We live in this generation that I just feel is like so much instant gratification. And people are trying to do it with their kids too. And that's just, to me, I'm like, I'm going to do what's best for her, not what's easiest for me. And that's like kind of the deal you sign up for when you have a kid, is it's like, it's not about what is easiest for me and what makes my life easier. Like it's about what's the best option for her. And some of those options that are best for her are harder for me. And that's just the reality of the situation. Like I got really, really sick and I'm like Googling everything. They're like, don't worry, like still feed your baby, like especially because of the antibodies your body's creating, like that will make her immune. But I'm like dog sick in the bed, still breastfeeding. And like a lot of people don't realize how much energy breastfeeding takes. Like it's not like relaxing. It's not like relaxation nation time. Like your body is now producing something, like it's working. Like you don't just turn on the ice cream machine and the ice cream just comes out. Like the whole machine works and makes the ice cream come out. So just like having to adapt my life to taking care of this person 24/7. Doesn't matter if we got 2 hours of sleep last night. You woke up happy at 6 a.m. and all you want is mommy's attention. And You don't care that mommy is half asleep and has a messy bun and morning breath. Like, you just want smiles and Miss Rachel and you want to play. Like, that adjustment has just been insane, of being someone's slave the second your eyes open.
Yeah, that part.
Literally, my eyes open and it's diapers changed, feeding, I'm making your breakfast, and now she got approved. We started baby-led weaning at exactly 6 months, so she's eating like egg whites and avocado toast and freaking Greek yogurt and stuff. So I'm like making my breakfast, making her breakfast. Like,
oh yeah. You know, my weight loss, I feel like also began because I stopped making food for myself, and I was just so invested into making food for my son and seeing what is he gonna like this week, because it changes every other day. And just, I started eating whatever leftover or things that he's throwing on the floor. I'm eating floor food. Like, tell me you're somebody's master without telling me.
I don't even get to it because my dog has figured it out and patiently waits for anything that gets thrown. I'm like, I don't even need a vacuum. Honestly, this is amazing. Like, I don't have to clean up the floor.
There you go. So you do have a dog.
Yes.
And do you let her roam around on the floor yet, or is she still just on a mat? How do you do that?
He's on a mat on the floor, but honestly, like the first day that he met her, he was not happy because was like an only child that suddenly like mommy's attention is diverted to something else. So it was definitely rough the first day, but now at this point, like, he's protective over her. Like, someone comes over to the house and like comes too close to the baby, like he's nipping an ankle. Like, he does not play games with Isola. Like, he does not want anyone near her. And she's just obsessed with him, loves him, grabs him. I'm like, we're learning gentle right now.
Yeah.
We're learning gentle.
I love that.
Because sometimes he looks at me like, if you don't do something, we're going to have a problem.
Oh yeah, we had to gate the dog away. 1, because of the fur. 2, because the kids just love the dogs. And the whole gentle part, I was at a mom meet the other day, and there was a 2-year-old, and she was like, no, gentle. And I was like, wait, you're still doing gentle? When does it stop? And she's like, girl, I don't know. I have a 4-year-old at home, and I'm still doing it.
Literally.
So that whole gentle thing is really hard. So with the dog, and the dog doesn't know that, you know? So it's rough out here.
Literally. He's so like patient with her. Like, he'll like look at me. He'll just like get up and go away if like she's doing too much, which will change when she starts crawling, but she could chase him. But right now it's just, he's like, I'm gonna move from this area because you're not listening to the gentle cues that I hear my mom making.
Once she starts crawling around, I think that's gonna be a little harder, but I can't wait to see what you're gonna come up with during that time.
I'm so nervous. I'm like already trying to think about it. I've already baby proofed like a little bit. Like, we have like a thing under our TV that we put like the Xbox and the Switch on and like all that stuff, and it was like open shelving, and I'm like, we can't have that. So I got a whole new thing, like just all these different things that I'm thinking about. I'm like, oh, is she gonna be like that giant playpen? Am I gonna get that? Am I gonna get rid of like my dining room table and have a giant playpen there? Like, am I gonna gate off certain areas? Like, I'm just thinking about like how we're gonna go about this when she starts actually getting mobile.
Yeah, because we thought
it's
of
starting,
like, yeah, she wants to move, and that's what it is. That's why when you guys traveled, I was like, that's still an easy time. Once she starts kind of crawling and you travel, I feel it's a little harder, but as long as you have enough room for her to like crawl back and forth on you guys.
That's when they're like, get the extra seat.
Yeah.
Don't lap, baby. Because she's about to be, where's she going, to Vegas this weekend? And then she goes, I'm going to Utah for my 30th birthday in December. So I'm like, this baby's about to be so domestically traveled. I need to get her passport, because out of nowhere, like, my friend could be like, oh, let's go here. Like, and everyone's obsessed with her. That's like the beautiful thing about like the friend group that I do have, is all my friends are like obsessed with her. Like, they'll FaceTime me and they're just like, okay, show me the baby.
Aw, that's
like,
sweet.
I love that, because the weirdest thing I feel like are people that are like, you have a baby, like, I don't really care about that. I'm like, this is the most important thing in my life right now. So if you don't care about that, like, you really can't care about me.
Exactly. And that's just how it is. A new thing is that we ask a mom advice and a question to the next mom. So we had the past mom ask you. So Natalia asked if you have gone through, which you haven't, or you plan on going through potty training. What method will you be following? Or do you have any tips or what you think you're going to go through?
So the best advice I've heard for potty training is my friend who within like 2 months potty trained her daughter. And she said the second they can sit up straight, like unassisted, just get the potty. And if you hear them like and pushing, just sit them on there. She's like, I did that, and now like my daughter literally won't even poop in her diaper. She like will grab her potty because they get like conditioned to it. So that's definitely what I'm gonna try. She's like, we haven't really figured out peeing yet because there's no like audible cues, but I feel like it's just introducing it as soon as you can and introducing like their own potty.
So then what is a question that you have for the next mom?
How soon did you start like intimate time, and like what was that like for you? And how is it now versus like before you had your kid? Or you can go with epidural or natural, and why? And did you actually follow your birth plan? Because I feel like no one really 100% does. Like nowhere in my birth plan did I say drive back and forth from the midwife 3 times because you weren't fully dilated enough. That wasn't in there.
So do you want another child?
I definitely do. I want 1 or 2 more, but I want to like get pregnant when she's like 2.5. Like I want to like fully feel like I'm in like my vibe again. I want to actually like plot some shit out and be able to be like, okay, I have all these things in place and I can kind of take that mental break and like have a baby. I don't want to feel like I'm figuring shit out still with her, and like now there's this whole new aspect and now I'm exhausted and trying to do things with her. And I want to also spend like time with her because there's only going to be this small portion of her life where she's the only, that is not even my nipple, where she's the only child. And I'm sure like that switch up of having another baby, I just have seen like, it's a terrible comparison, but just even the way I was with my dog before I had a baby. Like I would literally go out with him in like a purse. Now I'm like, I'm sorry, baby. Like you got to stay home. This is too much. There's a diaper bag. There's my purse. There's a stroller. Like I can't also then be rolling around with the dog. And also he's a Chihuahua, so he's temperamental. So it's not even like he's like friendly with people. So I'm like, I got the baby crying. I got you trying to bite someone's ankle. I'm trying to figure out my mental. And now I've forgotten 8 of the things at the grocery store that I was supposed to get. And I got to go back and do this all over again. Like, yeah. No. I can't imagine being pregnant right now. Oh my God. I made the joke the other day to my man and he literally looked like all the color drained from his face. And I was like, oh no, baby, that was just a joke. Like we're not there. He's like, you put it on, you made it on TikTok. I was like, yeah, it was a thought that I had. Like, oh, that would be so cute. But like, no. Like I'm just starting to feel like me again. No.
So what do you use for protection, contraceptives? What are you on?
So I haven't gotten my period back yet, but I know that you ovulate before you get your period. So I have the Aura Ring, and then I have natural cycles. So it tracks when my temperature is up and that I'm ovulating. So we just don't really do too much during that time span, which is honestly, I should have known that I was pregnant when I got pregnant because we had like a little rendezvous and I looked at my natural cycles and I was like, oh, I'm ovulating right now. And then I had a baby.
What's meant for you is meant for you.
Literally, and that's when I just really adopted the like mentality, God makes no mistakes.
Exactly.
So if I wasn't supposed to be pregnant, I wouldn't be pregnant. Hey, we were riding dirty for a year and nothing happened, and then suddenly out of nowhere, so I guess this was the timing. But it's also like I turned 30 next week. Like I'm at the point where I knew that we were nice. Oh, thank you. Okay. I knew that this was going to be my life person. I knew that we were going to have kids in the future. I knew that this is someone that I wanted to be my person for that. So it wasn't like oh no, like what are we gonna do? It was more like, damn, this timing's really off, but like I guess God decided what the timing was gonna be. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank
This
you
was
for
amazing.
coming out.
I
And
love to
thank you,
talk about
Isola.
all things mommy. Thank you for being somewhat cooperative, Isola. I don't know what your vibe is today, but let's get you some yogurt.
Thank you so much for joining me today and being part of this conversation. If you found this episode helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Your support truly helps other mamas find us. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and become part of our village so you never miss a new episode. We're all in this together. Until next time, mamas, take care and bye for now.